Welcome to Voices of CFMA, Construction Financial Management Association's podcast featuring conversations with industry leaders, sponsored by Profix. I'm your host, Sal Marino, CFMA's Marketing and Content Manager. This month, I am joined by Mia Hummel. Mia is the Senior Manager for Client Advocacy at BRIC, a construction software company headquartered in Santa Barbara, California. At BRIC, Mia is responsible for client VIP programs, client advocacy and satisfaction, planning and executing client appreciation events, and the Client Advisory Board, currently in development. Mia is a member of CFMA and is a participant on the DEI Communications Subcommittee and a member of the Orange County, California chapter. Mia, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sal. Anything for good old CFMA.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. All right, so let's just jump right in. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in the industry?
Yes, I feel like there's honestly two answers to that question, because officially I got started in the industry about 2.5 years ago, but unofficially I've pretty much been in it since I was born. You know, construction's a family industry, obviously, and I've quite literally been going to CFMA conferences since I was, I think, 12 with my mom, and just met so many amazing people. My godmother is a big person in CFMA, Jackie Buck, John Corcoran, who I like to call my grandpa, so lots of family kind of ties. And I was actually just at a party, I think Procore Groundbreak in Phoenix, just tagging along with my mom, wanted to say hi to all my aunts and uncles and whoever. And I ended up meeting Bassem Hamdi, our CEO at BRIC. Then he looked at me and he said, "You know everybody here. Why are you not working for me?" And I said, "Well, why am I not?" And so by the end of the night, we were going up to the elevator after drinks, and I had a job at BRIC. And that's pretty much how I got into construction and how I got into tech, is just, the luck of knowing these awesome people in the industry.
Wow, that is amazing. Born into both the industry and CFMA of sorts.
Definitely. Absolutely. I feel like I'm CFMA's grandchild.
So you'll be able to do family reunions and networking events at the same exact time.
Right. Like my wedding reception will just be a CFMA conference, I think.
We'll have to plan that out.
Yeah, you can take the photos.
Excellent. So can you talk about your perspective on how both the construction world and the world of technology are progressing with diversity and inclusion initiatives?
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting question, I think, for both industries, because construction, I feel, is, kind of slow on the uptake for most things. We're very much stuck in our ways, which can be a great thing, but can also, be detrimental when change needs to come quicker than it's happening. And I think that kind of being in this place of construction and tech at BRIC has helped me see that tech just makes things move faster, whether that's hiring young people to, do these cool jobs or creative things. We really see that kind of synergy with construction and tech, that they help move each other forward, And I think that especially in the construction industry, there's been a ton of education around diversity and inclusion. And I think that's amazing. And I think that we also now have the opportunity to kind of take more action to hire, more people of color, more young people, more queer people. I think that we've come a long way with women in the construction industry and giving women more opportunities and having places for them. And as a queer person in the industry, I don't totally see that, like for the LGBT community. And I would love for that to be the case. I know there's a couple, I know CFMA does some good work with diversity. There's a association, I think, called Build Out California, which is supporting queer contractors, which is awesome. But I think now is definitely the time where we have to kind of move from education and actually put it into action, and put that in our hiring, and put that in our, education to the whole company, and not just the CFO or the CEO who's going to a conference to learn about it. It really needs to be kind of ingrained and put into action so everyone, can learn and lead by example. So I think it's super cool. I think it's super interesting. I think that as a young person, especially in the industry, it's very cool to see change happen right in front of your eyes. And also it can be frustrating because you want it to move faster. Especially, I think my generation really wants that. So yeah, it's very cool. It's nice to see the older, generation and the more traditional people in the industry kind of move towards that as well. And I do think it starts with, after you educate, like I said, you have to put it into action. You have to create programs where it's not just saying we're a safe space for women and or queer people. It's actually doing it. It's actually then hiring women and queer people, or hiring someone that can find them and hire them, because the talent is there. There's so many brilliant people that we haven't even tapped into, especially in construction, where we really need labor. We need all kinds of people that just, unfortunately, they get looked over. And I think that we really need to start investing in programs that help fix that. You can only educate so much until you do have to start putting money into things like that. So I think that's kind of the next step for a lot of people.
So we talk a lot on this podcast about advice. Can you tell me the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
So I don't know if this is, I guess it could be work related, but this is just my favorite life advice that I've been given, is just what someone else thinks of you is none of your business. I think that is like a very peaceful kind of mindset to have. Whether someone thinks, poorly of you, that's not my business, that's yours. I don't need to know that. And also if someone thinks well of you, like, that's great. And also, I'm comfortable and I'm me, and that's not going to change anything. And I think also in a business environment, like, you show up, you do your job, and whatever people think about you is not really something you need to be concerned about. It's just, whether or not you're getting it done. Yeah. So that's something I like to live by, is especially in an industry where you can't be sensitive, right? You can't really care too much what people think. And especially in my position as a client advocate, you fortunately and fortunately get to speak with people who aren't always happy, and maybe that comes out on you, but it's not about you. So yeah, just not caring, but not making it your business to care what people think about you, I think is really important.
Yep, I think that's great advice. Now, before we get to our next question, a word from our sponsor, Profix.
Profix software centralizes all your financial data, including ERP, CRM, HR, estimating, and project management for a complete view of company performance. Contact Profix to learn how we can help better manage your project's cash forecasting, WIP reporting, margin fade, and equipment utilization.
So what about somebody who is new to the industry? What advice would you have for them?
Someone who's new to the industry, I think, especially a young person, I came into the industry very young. I was 22, I think, when I was hired at Brick. There's two things I would say, which is, one, don't be afraid to ask for help, ask for advice, really lean on those people who have been in the industry for a long time, especially in construction, and especially with CFMA too. There's so many people who are happy and willing and actually eager to help you, and they want to see the industry as a whole succeed. And, we see that with our mentorship program. It's amazing. And so I think definitely just not being afraid of asking questions, even if you feel silly or you feel like it's a dumb question. The odds are it's not. The odds are it's probably is something everybody's wondering, or someone has wondered before. So I think that is one thing. And then another thing would be kind of on top of that, like, if you have questions or you want advice, actually listen, from the perspective of who's telling you, and don't just take what you want to hear. Really genuinely care about the advice or the help or the knowledge that someone's sharing with you, because in this industry, everyone does something different, right? I feel like, especially at our company, we can see like everyone's WIP reports and how they do it. You can ask a CFO how they do that, and every single one will tell you something different. So when it comes to taking advice, just be open to any kind of feedback, whether or not it's like pertains to you at the time, because it could later. Really looking for those mentors and being comfortable to ask them questions and actually listen to the knowledge they're trying to give you.
So don't be afraid to ask questions and actually listen. I think that's great advice. Well, this brings us to the end of our episode. Mia, I just wanted to thank you again for joining me and taking the time out of your day to talk to our listeners.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Voices of CFMA. If you're looking to learn more about diversity and inclusion within the construction industry, check out cfma.org/DEI. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe and share on social media. And if you're interested in learning more about the Construction Financial Management Association, check out cfma.org.